It's never ending on my feed, and I don't.
Yeah, you're being bombarded with Caitlin Reese.
Dude, I'm being dunked on by chicks who can't dunk. I'm being dunked on by people who cannot dunk.
That's crazy.
The backboard is being ripped off of my brain by people who can't even touch the rim. It's insanity.
Yeah.
And I don't look. I'm never gonna knock anyone who is playing at a professional level.
Uh-huh.
I will never do that. It is also a sport that I don't like. If you want to ask me about what I know about basketball, it involves the 90s and NBA Jam.
Yeah.
That's as far as my brain goes. I know major players from the 90s, and then it just stops. And the only reason I know about current players is because commercials, and that's about it. I think the last person I was like, whoa, that guy's. Everyone's talking about this dude. He's going to be real good. Was LeBron James?
Yeah,
that's the last person.
Like when he came in as a teenager.
And everyone was talking. Dude, when everyone was talking about that dude at a college level, they're like, dude, he's going to change everything. Now, because I don't watch basketball.
Well, LeBron never went to college.
I thought he did.
He absolutely did not.
Then who am I thinking of?
Nobody.
No.
You're thinking of a creative player that you just made up.
I may be 2K'ing it in my head. I may be 2K'ing LeBron. I may be making up.
The guy who's 5'5", white.
Actually
artist,
can get up
does
there.
Stand-up comedy.
He has a low post presence. It's wild.
Yeah,
he's like the Muggsy Bogues, and dude. No, you know who I'm confusing him with?
No,
you know who I'm
I have no idea. I'm very eager to learn.
And he's, I guess, on the color gradient, he's on the other end.
Oh no, this Steph Curry?
No, it's Blake Griffin. I'm confusing him with Blake Griffin.
I will give you this. Similar athletic ability. They jump as high as each other.
All right. Well, then you know what? It might have been the jumping.
Because I know how you always recognize people by their
I might have just seen wow, that guy's got some real good vertical elevation there. What an amazing jumper that guy.
Yeah.
But I
always confuse people with the same vertical jump.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I remember when people really started talking about, so what is it? WNBA is what?
It's
started
a sport?
No.
that women play.
What?
It's similar to basketball.
Similar. Very similar. Basketball adjacent, I would say. But the WNBA is probably got started in 2008, 2009, maybe a little bit later, maybe a little bit before.
Oh, I think it was late 90s, early 2000s.
Late 90s?
Yeah.
The WNBA?
Yeah, the WNBA. I remember the WNBA being around when And One mixtape got popping.
No way.
Yeah, it was. It was. I remember
on
one of the episodes, because I very religiously watched the And One mixtape series.
Oh yeah, you like guys breaking their ankles,
dude.
You loved it.
Man. Listen, you wanna talk about crossovers?
I mean,
it is sick. And I also too, I liked that they were breaking the rules to break people's ankles. Right?
Oh,
I always liked the idea. I hated it when it happened to me, but I loved seeing somebody do an illegal move to get by somebody.
It is,
and
pretty
then
sick.
The other person's that was illegal. That was a carry. It's nah, dog, you're embarrassed.
I think the coolest, and I remember when I saw it, I was like, I can't wait to see, because I never really watched basketball on TV. I never really did. And it was because I just didn't give a shit. However, I will say, when Jordan was still playing the 93 Chicago Bulls, I mean, you couldn't get away from that.
Yeah.
That was
that was must-see TV.
Inescapable.
It was a cultural phenomenon.
You couldn't get away from it. And then coming off of that, you also had the 92 Dream Team. That Olympic Dream Team was incredible.
Yeah, I watched basketball, and I couldn't have told you the years for either one of those things.
Yes. I remember because I would watch, so every Sunday, and this is, again, not a guy, I'm a dude who I knew enough about sports where, you're a dude. I think it's such ingrained in you to remember players and teams and stats and crap, even if you don't give a shit about the sport. Mm-hmm. So every Sunday, though, I would wake up and I would just watch at ESPN but back when it was just ESPN1, there was no other channel, and they would do NFL films, and they would do a recap of like not just they would start doing like the NBA like that, and they would have that guy like, it was a cold Monday morning, and you're just like watching these dudes crush shit, and you're watching the recap of the summer games in '92, with the Dream Team, and you're watching country after country just eat shit. It was honestly like. You were like, yeah, dude, we're America. Dude, you cannot stop us.
You couldn't have convinced me at that time that every other country wasn't a third world country.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy watching them go up again. And like, I didn't know, that was the first time ever, too. I didn't know that many countries had basketball.
I didn't know that,
you know
that
what
many
I mean?
country had basketballs.
Lithuania has one basketball. They only have one. They're like, yeah, we can't really do anything else.
I mean, this is their first time getting to practice during the game.
Dude,
this is crazy.
It was nuts watching like even like Japan. Now Japan, you know, I knew for the longest time because of movies, Japan had a pretty good baseball program for a while.
Okay,
I didn't know
baseball program.
Yeah, because of baseball movies.
Yeah,
I knew that Japan definitely played baseball, but.
Can I just say this really quickly? I just feel like ninjutsu transfers over to baseball a lot better than it transfers over to basketball.
How so? How do you?
Because you don't like in baseball, you're basically swinging a wooden katana.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
And in basketball, you can't.
There's no weapons.
Yeah, there's no weapons.
There's no weapons.
It's just the ball. You can't tiptoe on people's heads.
Could you imagine and one in Japan? They're using nunchucks and shit. Now that would be sick.
That would be pretty sick.
If they're just like dribbling, they throw it on a smoke bomb and then disappear. And there's one guy like, whoa, you cannot do that.
Oh, very, very good.
Where's the referee? Come on.
Yeah, but to piggyback on that, now, so there is no more really and one basketball, but you know how the same way that Japanese are kind of taking over breakdancing?
No. I did not know the Japanese.
Dude, the Japanese are taking they're taking over black culture one cool thing at a time.
Whoa.
Like they now dress cooler than black kids.
That's got to be rough.
They breakdance better than black kids.
Oh no.
And now they have like a.
This is where all the Asian hate comes from.
It's not stop Asian hate. Stop Asian break. We're trying to stop Asians from taking over breakdancing.
They're coming for us, dude.
They're pop locking into our hearts, and we don't like it.
You can't have it, dude. They're gonna crush. They're gonna crush soul food at one point in time.
I'm pretty sure they're already doing that.
They're working on it.
Yeah,
they probably have.
They probably have the best fried chicken in the world.
He's like, this is an oxtail. What? No.
Yeah.
They're coming for everything.
So there's also like a big street ball scene in Japan right now.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Not surprising though.
They're also, I mean, to be fair, they're also taking over cooler aspects of white culture. They're the best skateboarders on the planet right now.
I don't know.
Dude,
they're the best skateboard video game developers on the planet.
For sure.
Come on.
For sure.
We couldn't have Tony Hawk Pro Skater without Japan.
That's for sure.
Without it.
When was the last? See, it's a little known fact about me. I stay pretty up to date on obscure sports.
Okay.
Like I love the X Games.
Sure.
I don't know anybody's names.
Don't know.
I refuse to commit that many white people's names.
Who would you say, with the exception of Tony Hawk? You know who Tony Hawk is.
Mm-hmm. I know who Tony Hawk is. Yeah.
Besides Tony Hawk, name two other people. Name two other pro skaters that were in the video game.
Bucky Lasek.
Wow.
And what's the little light skinned black dude's name? I want to say Asia, but it's not Asia. What is his name?
Kareem Campbell.
No. There's
another light. There's another light skin. Oh yeah, Kareem Campbell's not light skin.
Yeah.
I'm doing a Blake Griffin. I just Blake Griffin, Kareem Campbell. Damn it!
You did.
The light skinned black guy,
dude. It's like Aja or something. But yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I'm hip.
So I'm not saying you're not.
Yeah.
You just kick
Well,
flipped my brain.
You did challenge me.
I did. No,
You
I
did
didn't
challenge.
challenge. I just asked if you knew. I didn't challenge.
You forced me to prove
I asked if
my
you
knowledge.
knew. I asked if you knew, and you did. I thought honestly what you were going to say was Bob Burnquist. Everyone knows Bob Burnquist.
Yeah.
It's
He's
like,
a little bit of crybaby though. I never really liked his personality.
you know, it's Bob Burnquist.
He seemed like he hated Tony Hawk.
I
He
think
seemed like he was like a frenemy of Tony Hawk.
So I think when you are Tony Hawk,
Yeah.
when you're Tony Hawk, and I mean, again, I wouldn't say Tony Hawk started like, he didn't. Tony Hawk Pro Skater really brought like a whole renaissance to skateboarding, because in the 90s it was kind of dying off.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the 90s it was kind of dying off because 80s skateboard culture was so huge.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the 90s where people were like, yeah, we don't really give a shit about this anymore. And Tony Hawk was doing amazing vert skater, and what happened was when the X Games got pitched, like I remember watching the X Games for free on ESPN, and they were just like, yeah, we're doing this wacky shit that maybe some people will give a fuck about. And really I was like, wow, this is incredible. And then skateboard culture exploded again. And then you have him riding that wave with the video game. And I'll be very honest, if Tony Hawk didn't pull the trigger, if he was not on board with Tony Hawk Pro Skater, we wouldn't be talking about Tony Hawk at all right now. It was the video game saved skateboarding so much.
It for sure did, and I always felt like some of the people, Bob Burnquist included, didn't like that Tony Hawk was a little more dorky than skateboard culture.
Oh, yeah?
He's like, Tony Hawk basically felt like an accountant.
You know, I would say Tony Hawk, I'll say this about Tony Hawk. I don't think...
I've never seen him do this.
No, he stays true to himself, dude. Bob Burnquist does this.
Yeah, that's Bobby B.
That's gay, dude.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. I think Tony Hawk didn't think that the popularity of the video game was going to explode like it did. I think as much as becoming a household name like he was in the 80s, because people knew of him, but going into the 90s, it was like everything was tapering off. And you still had... you still had like Thrasher magazine, you still had Big Brother, you still had like, the CCS catalog with all the shoes and the skate decks and stuff like that. You still had those things, but it was very like, no one cared that much. Yeah. And it wasn't until like, PlayStation comes around and they make a game that one is, it made you think you could do all those things. Yeah. That was what was crazy about it.
It was also fun in the black community because you could play Tony Hawk Pro Skater and there was a lot of shit talk to be done.
Oh yeah,
it was just like
definitely.
Infinite shit talk.
I could only imagine.
Yeah.
Now, when you played Pro Skater, did you
suck? Yes, I sucked.
Did you? Did you try and skateboard? Did you try and skateboard?
You don't strike me. You don't strike me as IRL. Was I skateboarding IRL?
You don't strike me as a skateboarding type.
Okay, so as far as like wheeled activities, what would you peg me as?
You?
Yeah.
A bike, definitely. You on a bike, definitely.
Yeah, I was a bike guy.
Rollerblades, probably.
Hardcore blader. I hate that you're nailing this.
Now, and then
I don't like the implications, but
I knew you bladed. I knew you bladed, and I'm trying to think of like another. So bike blades. What is another like big time recreational wheeled activity?
Come on, man.
Bike blade.
I can't believe you're leaving this out. Because I did have a skateboard.
Yeah.
I had a skateboard. I could do an ollie.
You could ollie?
I could do it. I could do the thing where you put it on your feet and you jump on it. Like you lay it upside down on your feet and then you jump and land on the skateboard.
Wait. What? What are you talking about?
You don't know what I'm talking about? You lay the skateboard on your feet upside down.
On the grip tape. And then you jump.
And then you jump,
yeah. I got
flips
it.
And you land
Not
on top
really a
of
trick, but I get you.
I mean.
I get you. How many times did you fall when you did it?
Almost never. I mean, it wasn't like, because you're not going side to side on it.
Yeah.
Like I've seen people kind of lose it doing that.
Yeah.
What I'm going to call a trick. I'm calling it a trick.
Small trick.
It's level 1.
Small trick.
It's level 1, right?
I mean, I skateboarded in the 90s a lot. Was never good. I was more reckless than anything, and that was the only thing saving me with like the kids who like loved skating. because
you strike me as somebody who would have a need for speed on a skateboard.
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
Yeah.
When bombing hills got popular, because like that was never like no one gave a fuck about that. Like it was either can you do tricks, can you do like kick flips and heel flips and pop shove-its and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, that's cool. If you can do like grinding on rails and shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I can't do any of that.
Dude.
But I can ride really fast down a hill. And it wasn't until late 90s where that became like, yo, can you see this dude like go as fast as he can down a hill? I'm like, I'm all getting gas.
So that was another funny thing culturally that always made me laugh about skateboarding, because the tricks and stuff were definitely cool, but anytime it came to something that was like a little scary, like entering in on a half pipe, or like bombing a hill, that was white shit.
That was white shit.
That's where the line had to be drawn. That's too scary, dude.
You put your shit in danger, dude.
Dude, I would watch people bomb a hill and get the speed wobbles.
Oh no,
not on a skateboard.
It is crazy, and that's like riding on a skateboard. I was pretty good at. That was the only thing I could do was ride on it very well. I couldn't do.
You can go from point A to B
without it.
You were A to B.
I was never problem traveling anywhere. But when it came down to like, yo, man, take that stair set. I'm like, maybe I will. Just give me 5 minutes. I can do it, dude. I would eat shit so hard, and everyone was just like, yo, man, you almost had it. I'm like, yeah, I'll get there. I'm fucking working.
Very supportive community. I can almost assure you that you did not almost have it.
No, I had nothing.
Yeah,
I had absolutely nothing, and that was. I remember being with my younger brother and he'd be like, you can't do that. Like he would be one of those kids. I'm like, shut up, dude. I got this. Like, you don't. You really don't.
So, but again, the point that I'm making is that the Japanese are taking it over.
How are they? I mean, with the skateboarding, I guess when it comes down to it, skateboarding is pretty much physics and math.
It is.
And if you can do that.
Everything is physics and math if you're Japanese.
Sure, whatever.
We don't know how much everything is physics and math. Everything is physics and math.
Talking is physics and math.
Breakdancing is physics and math.
Oh, breakdancing is definitely physics and math. It's all knowing the components and the weight and the distribution and the spinning. It's I can only imagine.
Wearing sick gear is physics and math.
These pants actually have no wind resistance. Just planning your outfit, knowing you're going to be able to break in it properly, I can't imagine.
Because so in Japan right now, they had this this big skateboarding competition where people fly into Japan for it. And it's basically like the parkour of skateboarding, where they had these different events.
Yeah.
And you have to like go through it for time. And it's not like a typical street course. You know, it's more, I promise you, it's like more like a parkour course.
So there's like, is there like trap doors and boulders and
all
shit?
Sorts of shit like that. It's like a Japanese.
Are there people
game
like
show
jumping out? People jumping out to try to get it?
Yeah.
Damn, that sounds actually pretty sick.
It's the wipeout of skateboarding.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
If you can mix extreme sports with extreme failure, fuck yeah.
And that's like the biggest thing in skateboarding right now.
I can't.
And I could be wrong about that, but as far as like, because it's like it's hitting
the biggest thing in extreme sports right now. I could be totally wrong about this, Japan.
But I gotta figure if it's hitting me on, then it's probably huge.
Then it's. That's the most self-centered thing. Like, if I know about it, it's gotta be gigantic.
It's the Blake Griffin of that.
It's the Blake Griffin of sports.
I'm not very familiar with the LeBron James of skateboarding right now.
But I do know Blake
Griffin of skateboarding is the Japanese.
I just I think when it comes down, but to get back on the basketball tip.
Yeah, let's get back.
Everybody, so have you been following what's been going on in the WWE?
Dude, I can't not follow it. I have to follow it.
Yeah.
Like first of all, Caitlin Clark rather, and Angel Reese, right? Big rivals since college.
Yeah.
And you almost have to pick a side, right? And Caitlin Clark is obviously the better basketball player, but Angel Reese is so much hotter. I can't be mad at her. Do you know what I mean? Like, dude, I can't get mad at a bad bitch. I refuse.
I mean, she is. If you're going objectively just on looks alone, yes, Angel Reese is far more attractive.
Not even just for a female basketball player.
Just
Angel
in general,
Reese is a certified
No,
man.
she's great looking. She is great looking. But when it comes down to basketball, dude.
Yo,
do you want to walking around 10 or do you want a 2 hitting threes? What do you want?
I mean, well, first of all,
you want the threes.
Like I want the threes, but I have to give, like, listen, Caitlin Clark isn't necessarily turning. I mean, for sure, she's a tall freak, so she's turning heads in the street.
Straight up.
Right? But as far as her just aesthetics alone, no, she's not a head turner. But since I was raised by a single mom, I also have a feminine way that I judge attraction.
Yeah, you're a bitch.
Yeah. if you're good at shit, you're hot to me. Dude.
Well, if that's what you're judging on, if you're good at shit, you're hot, then Caitlin Clark is fucking way hotter than if we're going on skills. If we're going on skill Caitlin Clark is hotter than Angel Reese.
Skill wise, she's hotter.
Without a it's out of control.
But it can only bump you up so much.
Yeah,
like
I guess so.
Angel Reese's starting point is still higher than where Caitlin Clark gets bumped up to.
She just showed up. She's like, I'm hot enough to play basketball.
Yeah.
I'm hot enough to play basketball. But I don't. What I find crazy is that everyone is now talking about the disparity between the two, and the rivalry and the animosity between the two, and the racial implications it has.
This is where the race war is going to jump off.
Dude, did you have that? Did you have that on your bingo board that the WNBA starts the race war? I didn't.
Dude,
I was not calling
when
that.
we're trying to explain that to like a couple generations later.
I know.
Like when we're all like underground in our bunkers and shit, and we're trying to explain that women's basketball was the catalyst.
No. Was it George Floyd? No. Breonna Taylor? Absolutely not. It actually came down to the Indiana fever.
Yeah. So Angel Reese was mean to Caitlin Clark one day. And now I can't see my kids.
And now a bomb with VX gas has gone off on the above ground, and we can't go out there. It's just I never thought that was going to be. Yeah, like how bummed would you be if you found out like the WNBA is what brings us all down? Can't we just stop for a second and be like, yo, it's just a game. I understand it's not just a game to some people. But when it comes down, it's like, yo, this is just a game.
Is hockey just a game?
How dare you?
Mister is just a game.
Look, man.
Yeah. Were the Broad Street Bullies just playing a silly game?
First off, they changed everything. They changed the whole game, dude. They changed everything. The reason we play the game now is because of what they did in the 70s, dude. It changed everything. No, but hockey is just a game. If it came down to like, yo, there's major turbulence in America because of the way these teams are playing, I honestly think people would take a second and be like, yo, come on, dude, shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. Just shut the fuck up and play the fucking, who cares?
Yeah.
What blows my mind is how many people are now like really acting like they ever gave a shit about women's basketball to begin with. And you never did. That's where it comes down to it. Like, it'd be different if everyone who had an opinion on this was like, I've been following since Joanna Man. Like, I've been following this forever.
I would find them creepy.
Sure, that would be...
it wouldn't make me value their opinion more. I'd be like, ew, why were you following women's basketball for so long? That's crazy. That's insane.
Dude, I would think if I went to somebody's house and they had like a framed poster of women's basketball, I'd be like, you're fucking weird.
Dude, I've never watched a whole women's basketball
I don't think...
Like, cumulatively, since it started.
Dude, I have seen 3-minute clips.
Yeah.
Every time. And it's all when they're posting it on social media. And that's all it is.
And I tried to watch a women's basketball game, and it was only because Caitlin Clark was in the national championship when she was in college. Not the first time when she went up against Angel Reese, but the second time. And I was like, okay, let me get in on this.
Sure.
Let me get in on this. And I was watching the game for maybe 5 minutes.
Did you think, you're like, let me get on this. Did you think that it was going to be entertaining?
Yes.
You did?
I thought, I thought the way people were talking about it, the way people were talking about Caitlin Clark, which she is exciting. She is must-see TV for the most part.
I mean, it is impressive. I will say that, like, again, not that I give a shit about basketball, but as someone who can appreciate a skill level,
Mm-hmm.
it is wild watching her hit those like
she be
it
making
is
them hoes look stupid
nuts.
out there.
And she's making it's not like she's doing it like eyeing it up. She's just shooting the fucking ball and it's going in. It's nuts.
I don't even think it's good. I think it's actually bad for women's basketball because it highlights how bad all the other players are.
See right there. That's kind of like I can see animosity growing with other players, not just on other teams, but even on her team.
Yeah.
Like imagine being like, yo, I've been working hard like my whole life. I was pretty good in college. I got on this team, and I'm blue collar fucking professional basketball player. And then all of a sudden, this phenom comes on, and it's like I have nothing. Can you name another player for the Fever?
No.
Name. Okay, you named three.
I think there is a chick in the WNBA. I don't know what team she plays for, but her name is Asia Wilson.
Yes. So Asia. So
is she on the Fever?
No, she's on it. She's on another team.
Okay.
She was another person. She was another chick.
She's good, right?
She's all right.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. The reason why Caitlin Clark is a little bit of a phenomenon is because she's really good and doesn't feel like a lesbian.
Yeah.
Like on the court. Like she like
but in real life, total lesbian. No.
All those chicks like move like lesbians.
They are very blocky.
Yeah.
She's so fluid.
Yeah.
It is wild because you watch.
Yeah, these bitches are Atari.
Dude, they come out, they are trunching around.
They're 8-bit.
And I think dude,
they're all bonk.
If Caitlin Clark called her an 8-bit bitch, that would be Caitlin, if you're watching, take that and run with it.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark is for sure PlayStation. She's NBA 2K.
She definitely is.
And everybody else in the WNBA is Bonk's Great Adventure.
I think it is
big ass heads. Small body.
They got Game Genie cheat code heads. Just put in code. It's like, yeah, I'm just playing this for fun. But I think so. Asia, she was another person. I think when Caitlin Clark came into the league, I think Asia had been playing in the WNBA
since 2008.
Yeah, since like pretty much the beginning.
Not the beginning of the WNBA.
I said pretty much. I said pretty much the beginning. But she was like, again, saying that the only reason people are paying attention to this is that because she is a white girl. Now,
Asia Wilson said that?
Yes.
Okay.
She was a person.
But that's not false. By the way,
it's not false, but it's also not true because there were also other white bitches in the league.
Yeah,
there were also other white chicks in the WNBA at the time.
But here's what I'm saying. It's when I say that it's not false, I don't mean to say it in a negative way. It's not. I put it to you this way: if you saw two people in a rap battle,
sure,
and they were even, they evenly rapped,
sure.
One of them was black, one of them was white. Who's winning the rap battle?
If they were even,
I
would say whoever. If they're even, there's no way to call that,
dude. It's so much more impressive that the white guy has those skills.
Is it?
Yes. There's only like
you act like white people don't know poetry.
White people know poetry, but rapping on beat.
White people have
basically
white people can do rap.
Rap is basically word dancing.
All right, but some white people can dance really well, and it's not.
Dude, name me one white person that can dance really well.
John Travolta.
And rap.
Justin Timberlake.
Have we heard him rap? He's more of an R&B fella. He's more of a Blake Griffin. Justin Timberlake is the Blake Griffin of music.
Rap. So here's the thing. Here's what I'll say.
Okay.
Do you see many, like, just straight up rap guys? Do you see many of them dancing? Do you see moving is fine?
But if you're moving to the music, that's technically dancing.
Is it? Because then I'll say Bubba Sparks. That guy moves pretty well. Paul Wall did it pretty well.
But Paul Wall.
Paul Wall, you can't even
does
deny.
Not move when he raps.
He does too. He does a lot of this, and that's the same thing.
I don't like not at the same. Does he do that?
Yeah,
at the
dude.
same time
He
that
was
he's saying words?
he was ripping. So Paul Wall's movements, dude. Paul Wall's movements. If you watch, what the fuck was the major song he had? I only remember the video.
Yeah.
But he was doing the same moves that fucking Birdman and fucking Men of Fresh were doing from fucking
that's
the
fair.
fucking Cash Money. They're doing the same thing, dude. They're doing the same like elbow thing. Like they're fucking big retarded dudes. It's you're not. I'm trying to think of the last rap guy.
Okay,
come on. If you're going R&B, R&B's got the fucking moves.
Okay,
they got the moves.
So let me give you a different example then, right? Because you're giving me no quarter on that one. All right. You got two guys in a fight.
And
they're going at it 5 rounds.
And it's dead even, but one guy's black.
One guy's black and one not just that. One guy's black.
You're describing Rocky dude. How can you ask me to do this? You're asking a white guy's like, hey, and dude, when you're like, it's a black guy versus a white guy, my brain's like, well, Rocky.
But a black jacked guy against a white guy that just has like a fit-ish body.
Okay, and the fit-ish white guy is even with the jack.
Even with the black.
Well, that's just impressive regardless of color. That's impressive regardless of color.
Yeah, but if it was a black athletic-ish guy, you'd be like, oh, he clearly has hidden athletic ability.
Not at all. If it was a super jacked white dude going up against a guy who's like kind of in shape and he fucking knocked out the jacked white dude, I'd be like, hell yeah, dude.
But we don't get to see the example of the slightly fit white guy dominating.
I think
Anderson Silva.
Okay. Straight up. If Anderson Silva. By
the way, he had a dad bod for the most part.
Dude, I know.
He was skinny
The
fat.
Spider he was wildly shaped.
Yeah.
But also, okay, Anderson Silva going up when Frank Mir was on gas.
Yeah.
When Frank Mir was jacked and he couldn't even put his fucking arms down.
Yeah.
If I saw Frank Mir go up against the Spider and Anderson won, I'd be rooting for Silva anyway.
For sure.
But if he won against like a super, I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude.
Not me. I'd be like, yeah, really, there's nothing white people can do to catch up. We're so far ahead athletically. There really is nothing they can do. Science couldn't even help them catch up.
I think it's like when you see. I think what you're saying. Sure. What I think. If it's more impressive that a white guy is doing something in a black sport or against white people or against black people, I would say the only reason Caitlin Clark is impressive, is because everyone else in the WNBA is so bad.
But dude,
I think that's why it's impressive.
There is an element of like, man, this is like a white girl's doing this. This is crazy.
I think it's because I think it's because when the WNBA started, it was like, predominantly a black league, and they were like, yo, this is ours. This is our space.
I think I have it.
What is it?
Okay. 2 women.
Oh, you're trying to get me to. You're trying.
Yeah, you're gonna.
I see what you're doing.
I think I found
see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
2 women, equally stacked physically, top,
got it,
rear, silhouettes. You wouldn't even be able to tell which one was which. Right? One's black, one's white. They're in a twerking competition.
Oh my god!
And
the white girl bests.
They're basically even.
Basically even.
Who do you think is getting more cheers from the crowd for doing like the jump split twerk?
I think that's only because you're entering a culture where you're not normally there.
Thank you.
But then again,
that's the point that
what I'm also going to say though is sports, whether or not it comes down to a cultural thing, it's black people adopted that as their culture. That's the difference.
I think I got it.
That's the difference.
I think all I need you to, all I'm trying to do.
I know what you're trying to do.
I just want you to admit that there is an appeal to Caitlin Clark because she's white. That's all. And I think I got it. I think
I'm not. Look, I don't disagree with that. So as far as the general populace of America, I do not disagree.
And that's
with
not
that.
but that's of course that's not the only reason.
Sure.
And I don't even think it's a major reason. It's just like it's part of the lore. It's part of the appeal.
Sure.
Right. So my last example was going to be: you're crossing the street, car pulls up to a stop sign, rap music is blaring. You look inside the car, you see an old black woman rapping along to DMX, just right.
She's got blood on her dick.
I got blood on my dick. It's no right.
Yeah. All right.
She just fucked the corpse.
She just got done violating a dead body.
So you see her, you'll probably be like, "Oh man, black people be crazy." I look at her, But now, same scene. Car.
Black people be crazy.
Black people be crazy. Black people be crazy, right?
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
Same scene, crossing the street, rap music blaring, car pulls up to the stop sign. You look in, there's an old white lady in there rapping to DMX. You're not going to be like, okay.
No. I'd be like,
there's no okayness.
I would reach in there and turn it down. I'd reach in there and turn it down and be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Pull up your pants. You know what it is because if I saw an older black lady listening to DMX, I'd be like, all right, she likes DMX. If I saw an old white lady listening to DMX,
that's not for you.
My first thought would be like, oh, she's trying to get like a rise out of people. My first thought would be like, oh, she clearly knows that the general populace would be like, what is this white lady doing listening to DMX? However, I think, again, this is me personally, because I don't give a shit. If that white lady was driving through, a black part of town and she was listening to DMX, she'd be doing it waiting for like oh shit, like this lady's like part of our culture. I don't know. I think.
But okay, so
I'm just saying when it comes down to like a white lady going into basketball and it being impressive.
Yeah.
I will say, again, if we're gonna equate that to a sport, I do a hockey. If we're gonna equate it to hockey, was I impressed when Wayne Simmons was good at hockey? Was I impressed? No.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, we have a dude who can do. I think it's like if you really enjoy the sport, you for a small period of time, you do not see color. You are literally like
when you're following the ball to the rim. But when they take the ball out, you see color.
Then you see it again.
As soon as it gets in a hand, you see color. Hand is part of the ball. Color is part of the hand.
I'm just saying when people I remember, you know what it was?
By the way, that was a basketball reference that you didn't get. That went way over your head.
It did.
Like that's count. Like if you're holding the ball and somebody smacks your hand while you're holding the ball, that's not a foul because hand is part of the ball.
That's not a foul?
No.
Oh,
it has to be higher than the wrist for it to be a foul.
What?
Yeah, smacking the hand. If your hand's
holding, they can smack your hand.
Smack your hand.
Whoa.
Hand's part of the ball. Color's part of the hand. I needed you to get that joke.
So what you're saying is every time Caitlin Clark has slapped a black lady, she's been slapping the color? What?
Yeah, she is smacking.
That's not okay.
She's trying to smack the black off the WNBA.
That's not okay.
That's why Angel Reese got so upset about that foul.
You know what?
Because Caitlin tried to smack the black off her.
So here, but if you look back before that, Angel Reese tried to push the white out by fouling the other chick on the Fever. She pushed her.
That was black on black crime, though.
Was that black on?
Yeah, that was.
You know what? I didn't see color.
The ball was in the air.
The ball was in the air. I didn't see what it was. I just saw one lady assault another, and I was like, that could have been anybody. Could have been my daughter out there. I was mad. But I do think it's like, even when Wayne Simmons came to Philadelphia, there was a point.
Wait, Wayne Simmons is a hockey guy?
He's a hockey guy.
Okay.
He played for the Flyers.
He's a black guy?
Black guy.
Okay, I think I remember him.
Wayne Simmons, number 17. Yeah. He came in after Jeff Carter had been traded, and everyone was like, I remember people like, oh, Wayne Simmons. And like at no point in my time watching, I was like, oh, wow, a black guy on the team.
Yeah.
Didn't think of it at all because there had been black players before. You know, I just was like, oh, cool, dude playing hockey. Fucking hopefully this guy's good. Now, what I found really, it was like, what do we do? Like in my head, I'm like, come on, hockey, we're better than that. We're white.
We don't need black people in our sport.
No.
We're better than
It was when It was when
the only thing black on the ice is the puck, as far as I'm concerned.
When Wayne Simmons, I can't remember where he was at. I can't remember who he was playing against. Wayne Simmons wasn't booed when he got on the ice, but somebody did throw a banana onto the ice.
That's because he got a hat trick, right?
No, he got a backwards hat trick.
He had a do-rag trick, right?
And it was crazy because like everyone was like, you know, they addressed it, and like I remember, you know, Wayne Simmons did he addressed it in a press conference. Like, yeah, I just, you know, he wasn't like, you know, he was bummed because it was clearly like, yo, look at this fucking black dude on the ice. Get out.
Yeah.
But I remember everybody, like, when it happened, people weren't like, yeah, this black guy doesn't belong in the league. Everyone was like, what are you doing? It's hockey. Everyone was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's hockey.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with color.
I mean, but was part of you like, come on, dude, what are we doing? This is hockey. Also, that's kind of funny.
No, believe me, there was a part where I was like, I'm pretty good.
Kind of
I was like sneaking in banana the whole time.
You brought a banana to the game.
That means that
no concession stand was selling bananas.
That guy stocked at an Acme beforehand and was like, I know Simmons is going to be there.
Oh, boy.
I am throwing this.
I am going to bring the house down when I throw this banana.
I will say this, though. When that guy threw that banana, you know he threw it and it hit the ice and everyone in the crowd was just like, you know, everyone's cheering because like shit's being thrown. They're like, yeah, crazy. And then everyone was like, is that a fucking banana?
Yeah,
and you know, he was
like,
yeah, who threw that? Who did that? Dude, I guarantee everyone standing next to him was like, what are you doing?
Can I
what are you
can I
doing?
put you in an uncomfortable spot right now?
Put me in an uncomfortable spot.
So you have two guys.
Let me guess. One's black.
One's black.
And one's white.
One's white, right? And now you're looking at these two guys. They're both there. They're both equally fit. Equally fit. Same height.
Same height.
Equally fit. And this is the truth. I'm about to tell you about one of these guys. And you have to guess which one is the guy that I'm telling you this truth about.
Sure.
One of those guys, Shayna, that we're looking at.
That were the black guy and white guy.
Same,
almost identical, just different colors.
One of those guys can throw a banana and make it come back like a boomerang. Which one of those guys?
Where is the white guy from?
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm.
If he can throw like a boomerang, I would say white guy because he's Australian.
No, he's not. Dude, they're American. American black, American
and
white.
make it come back like a banana?
He can, like a boomerang.
Like a boomerang.
He could boomerang a banana.
I'd say the white guy.
That's disrespectful.
Why is that disrespectful?
Because it's a sport.
Is it? Black people have weird sports that I don't know anything about. I didn't know banana throwing was a black sport.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing. I think if
he's a black banana back. Like
if I saw a white guy throw a banana and came back to him, I'd be like, "Whoa, sick!" But if I saw a black guy throw a banana and came back to him, like, "Yo, dude, maybe not. Dude, don't do that in public."
Maybe other people should know you.
I was like, "Yo,
skill.
man, don't let anybody know about that."
Yeah, please don't let anybody know I saw that. By the way,
if I tell anybody, can you please put this on the internet before I start talking about it? Because if I say I saw a black guy throw a banana and it came back like a boomerang, I was like, "You're a racist."
That would be
shit.
the craziest. You could never tell that story
ever.
That's
ever,
crazy,
dude. If I saw, there's like certain things. Like I remember there was one time I saw a black dude, years ago, FDR Park. It was summertime. There was a bunch of street vendors along the fucking parkway. This black dude is eating a watermelon like it was almost like he was in a contest with no one but himself.
Yeah.
But he was doing it so egregiously that other people were taking notice, but everyone was doing that thing where like they're looking straight ahead, trying not to make eye contact. Because if it had been anyone else, like, yo, man, that guy's fucking housing that watermelon. Everyone's just like, oh my God, okay. he's still eating that, dude.
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
is
yeah.
chomping away. But like, I almost wanted to be like, yo, that was impressive as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to. I didn't want to be like, yo, man, I've never seen a dude eat a watermelon like that before.
Just any dude.
I was like, any dude.
Any color.
Any color.
When it comes to watermelon eating, I don't see color.
Yo, dude.
I only see
I see
impressive.
skill.
Yeah.
I see skill.
Yeah, yeah.
And let me tell you something. You don't hide that in a bushel basket.
Man, you got it.
You, whatever it
You
is.
got the X
Wait a
factor.
minute. Do that again.
Yeah, you've got the Malcolm X.
Hello
factor.
there. My name's Ryan Chandler. I represent watermelon eaters all over the East Coast.
You do look like a.
What I saw there, sir, was something impressive nobody else can do. Give me another piece of watermelon. Step right up. Everyone, come see the amazing watermelon eater.
Yeah,
They'd be like, this is wrong.
yeah.
This is wrong.
That's wrong. As they're paying for their ticket, this is. I don't feel. Right
I
about
don't
this.
like that I paid for it.
Yeah,
But
That's
I'd be like,
that's a front row seat, right?
I'd be like, no, man, he hired me.
yeah, yeah.
He hired me to tell you guys that he's really good at eating
Is
watermelon.
it first come first serve seating, or is it on my ticket, or?
I'm just validating every one of them. Like, yeah, you got to see this guy. But like, I think when it comes down to like sports and things like that, I don't really like. I mean, I see the team. Like in my head, I'm just like, that's what we should be focusing on is whether or not the team's good. Whether or not, don't get me wrong, it's got to be a pain in the ass when you are on a professional sports team of any kind.
Yeah.
And there is one. Imagine being on the Kansas City Royals when Bo Jackson is playing. Imagine being on that team.
But that's also a brown-dominated sport, too.
I'm not saying it isn't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it. But regardless of, imagine being another black guy who like shows up to the Royals and you're
Dude,
gonna be,
I would hate to be a black guy playing sports during the era of Bo Jackson or Michael Jordan. That's crazy.
you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like that's what I mean. These dudes kind of transcend race.
Yeah.
They don't. It doesn't matter because you're like, oh, I'm the dude. I could be like, I'm the Michael Jordan of clogging a toilet, and you know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
It's regardless of you use those people as barometers for greatness.
I mean, as far as clogging toilets are concerned, he's never lost in the finals.
I've got six
He's got
rings.
6 rings.
I got rings.
Yeah, he's got 6
motherfucker.
O-rings.
My poster is this, and I'm just crapping all over a commode. It's
By the
like,
way, an O-ring is something that's inside
It's-
of a
it's at
toilet.
the bottom of the
it's inside
toilet.
the bottom of a toilet. No big deal.
I appreciate what you did there.
Thank you very much.
I saw you did. I didn't just let that go. That was like a banana boomerang.
Yeah, it was a banana boy. It came right back. It came right back.
But I will
Had a
say,
certain appeal.
if you regardless of your race, like if you get into a sport and you're like, yo, I'm fucking so pumped to be here. I'm gonna be great. I'm working so hard to be so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are like, who else we got on the team? They're like, Bo Jackson. You're like, well, I guess I'm just gonna sit here
Yeah.
where no one's gonna give a flying fuck.
Yeah,
about
you're
what I do.
just a guy now.
You're just a guy.
Yeah.
You're just a guy. And that's where it comes down to like even Jordan. You know, like I'm willing to bet, even though Scottie Pippen was borderline not just as popular as Jordan.
No,
But when
not
you-
even borderline.
but when you
not
think-
even technically.
I will say this though. When I think Michael Jordan, standing right behind him is Scottie Pippen. My brain does that.
But when you think Scottie Pippen, psych, nobody thinks Scottie Pippen.
That is true. No one does think Scottie Pippen. You got to think
Never.
Jordan first,
Never.
and then think
I
Scottie
wonder
Pippen.
what Scottie Pippen's up to.
But it's like, you know what? Though you either have two choices, though, I guess, because if you look at again the Bulls in '93, 94, if you're not thinking Pippen and you're not thinking Jordan, who are you thinking?
On the
Bulls.
On the Bulls. Ooh, man. See, I don't know them by years, so I could be off when I say this. But one of my favorite players, and I think I have it now. By the way, I think I have it.
Oh yeah,
I have it. I have it because I just realized.
great.
I just realized
Let's
it.
see.
So Tony Kukoc was one of my favorite players.
Wow, that was not who I thought you were going to say.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, and not that Dennis.
dude. Skill wise, he was basically Angel Reese.
I mean, he was getting his own rebounds a lot.
Yeah.
Also, more attractive than Jordan.
Dennis Rodman?
Dennis Rodman.
More attractive than
when
Jordan?
it comes down to what people think. When it comes out, Dennis Rodman was like a sex symbol for.
He was not a sex symbol because of his face. He was a sex symbol because he had freaky sex with Carmen Electra.
Do you think Jordan could have pulled Carmen Electra?
Yes.
You think Jordan could have done that?
Yes.
I don't think Jordan has the charisma off the court.
I don't think he needs the charisma off the court.
I don't know.
He was a billionaire, dude.
Yeah,
Dude, first of all,
bitches do like money.
We
Bitches love
widely accepted. Dennis Rodman is literally used as a measure of male ugliness.
Wow. Maybe now.
Maybe then. Definitely then.
You know what? I don't see ugly color. You know what? I don't see ugly color.
Yeah.
I just saw Dennis Rodman having sex with Carmen Electra, and I was like, yeah, this guy's got to be the hottest dude.
Dude, back then, like parents used to tell their kids if they didn't start acting right, Dennis Rodman was going to get them.
Did Dennis Rodman travel with Santa Claus? Like the Krampus?
He is Krampus.
Dennis Rodman's going to show up in a wedding
Dennis
dress
Rodman
and marry you.
is Krampus for
Yeah,
sure.
he's fucking. All right. Yeah. All right.
For sure. But I have it.
Okay.
Remember that I have it now?
You got it. Yeah.
All right, so I have it. So here we go.
Let's see if.
So here we go. So you're going to think that I'm still trying to harp on the whole give them extra credit because they're white.
Sure.
Right? And it's going to sound like that with what I'm going to say. So I just need to put that out there.
Taking it.
The reason why. And this, you can also apply this to Steph Curry.
Sure.
Right? Caitlin Clark.
Got it.
Tony Kukoc.
Okay.
Right? One of the reasons why it's so impressive what they're doing is because they're not athletically equipped for the sport that they're dominating.
Okay.
They're not fast. They're not the fastest person on the court. They can't jump the highest.
Sure.
They're not the strongest.
Well, you're describing the WNBA in general, sir. I'm sorry. If your argument was to do that, you got to nail the WNBA.
They can't dunk.
It's like you can't do anything.
Yeah.
All right. No. I see where you're.
But you see what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that is impressive. But here's what I will.
And just to elaborate on that, because like you see Michael Jordan or you see LeBron James, and you see what they do, and you're like, I could never be LeBron
do that.
James.
Yeah.
But it's like I could be Caitlin Clark. I could dominate the WNBA.
That's what you want a man's about, dude. That's what you want.
The first Caitlin Clark.
He was like, you know what? I may not be stronger. I may be fast enough. I got banned from the league. I'm just gonna enter,
dude.
A women's.
The idea that Caitlin Clark is Joanna Man is hilarious.
It's wild. That's another thing too. Like I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but if it comes down to skill, she still was playing at a D1, collegiate athletic level. Mm-hmm. Whether or not, and I'm pretty sure you have to be like, fast enough or whatever, whatever athletically built or trained to do that.
I mean, well, somewhat. I mean, at the college level, it's like it definitely filters out to more athletic people once you get to the professional level.
Sure.
And they're definitely, I guess, more athletic than the high school level.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
But there's still people on the basketball team at the college level that
I guess also when it comes down to it,
mm-hmm.
basketball is not a full contact sport.
No.
It's not a full contact sport. You don't have to really, and then I'm not saying full contact doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. It does happen. I remember watching.
Which is how we got in this conversation in the first place.
Exactly.
From a full contact foul.
Full contact foul.
Yeah.
But, I will say, Caitlin, does she need to be that fast? Does she need to be that strong? Because it doesn't matter where the fuck she is on the court. It seems she can always hit the fucking bucket.
Well, but that's the thing. You have to get open. You have to be able to get open.
But she seems to be doing that just fine.
Which is why it's impressive. Like, how is she doing that? There's a question mark around that.
I think she's just more athletic than other women in that league. I think that's just really what it comes down to. I think it's not jealousy. It's not. I'm not saying.
No, you know what it is. I think nobody in the WNBA has ever seen someone change directions.
That might be it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet. Like again, I'm not shitting on all the players in the WNBA. I'm pretty sure there are players who are like, look, I really love the sport and I really want to be good at it. I'm gonna try as hard as I can. And there are other people like, yo, we got a good thing going here.
Yeah.
We're making 73 grand a year. Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. And maybe I'll demand some money for the shoes because we're putting in work, you
Put
know?
a little work.
Yeah, putting in work. But it's like when it comes down to it, maybe Caitlin Clark is still using like a workhorse mentality. She's like, I'm going to run around. I'm going to do what I want to do when you're coming into a league where people are like, you know what? I'm cool with layups. I'm cool with like kind of hitting 30% of the shots I take. I'm cool with doing this or that. And like, I'm not shitting on them. There are people that I know that like I went to high school with a dude who literally was pretty good at football.
He was literally pretty good.
Literally pretty good. Now, what happened was he was so good that he did get a college scholarship to play in Michigan. Now, when he went to Michigan, his whole thing, he didn't get drafted, but his whole thing was, he's like, yo, I'm just going to play good enough to get drafted in like a third string position to a professional sports team.
Yeah.
And then like be in my third stringer, but collect my paycheck, but also work on whatever degree. I'm looking at this like a financial decision. Now, I'm not saying that's common, but I am going to say if you were in the WNBA and you worked really hard to get there, and then you find out that like no one's paying attention to the WNBA, no one's paying attention. The most you can make is maybe $100K a year, maybe $100K, and that's just for being there.
Yeah.
You can go out on the court, do whatever you want, kinda, and then just be like, yo, I have my investments, I have my fucking clubs where I do this, I've made, I still have my fucking communications degree, I'm still working there, and then comes along Caitlin Clark. Who's like, yo, I'm here to fucking ball, bitch. Like, I'm here to fucking do it.
Yeah. I'm here to play the game.
And then they're like, shit.
Yeah.
You're ruining what we're doing here. Like, we had a whole fucking thing. And I'm making a wild speculation.
Yeah, you're basically saying that the NBA is the WNBA is a racket.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. These ladies are scamming money.
They're scamming it.
from the
They're
NBA.
demanding more money and they're scamming you. And then Caitlin Clark shows up and she's like, look, man, I actually really want to do well. And I'm not saying Angel Reese doesn't really want to do well either. I'm not saying
she wants to be considered the Michael Jordan of the WNBA.
Too bad it's Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Too bad. You are not as good as her.
Yeah, she's not even the Blake Griffin.
Dude,
she's not even the Blake Griffin.
That's kind of what I'm getting. Like, when you have all these athletes, and again, I don't know where the ego comes into it. I don't know. All I do know, though, if you are playing at a professional level, any profession, you want to be the best you can be. Sure. And your brain tells you, like, I want to be the best. I want to be able to go home and be like, yo, I'm the fucking best. But again, it's got to be hard. And I'm sure that happens with every fucking sport. And it had to have happened. It has to happen at, like, in baseball, I'm pretty sure there are dudes who are like, yo, man, I'm fucking so good. And then fucking Babe Ruth. Could you imagine playing in a league and you're like, yo, I'm fucking good, dude. And then some dude's like, yo, I'm going to call where this baseball's going to go, and then I'm going to hit it as hard as I possibly can. And then you go into the 80s, you're like, yo, I'm fucking good. And then like fucking Roberto Clemente is just crushing shit, and you're like, God damn it, I have nothing.
So are you familiar with the conspiracy? By the way, 1996 is when the WNBA started.
1996. Dude, you've come a long way, baby. You have come. I know more about the WNBA in the last year and a half than I have ever known about it in my life. I honestly thought that they stopped it. I thought until this shit started happening, I thought they were like, we're not making any money. Why would we keep the league going?
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna have to fold the league. And it's like, sure, a lot of people are complaining that now people are paying attention for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But people are only paying attention for the wrong reasons because you're promoting the wrong reasons.
That's for sure. But I have to hit you with this conspiracy theory really quickly because you brought him up. Babe Ruth. Are you familiar with the theory that suggests that Babe Ruth was a black man?
When are you black people going to stop? When When is it ever enough for you?
Babe Ruth was a black man.
You guys have Hank Aaron. You guys have fucking, Bo Jackson.
We got him.
You have so many amazing black athletes. Why do you need Babe Ruth? First off, Babe Ruth, not black. Not black. He was a white dude. He was one of the ugliest white dudes of all time.
I mean, it's okay. So AI. This is AI's response when I Googled it. But AI doesn't understand.
Yeah.
AI.
Speaking of it, you also have Allen Iverson. You have Iverson.
Yeah, we have that.
You have Jordan Iverson. Come on.
What do you think? Is AI black or white?
Oh man, that's a great question.
Yeah.
No,
I'm guessing white because of this answer.
I would say Asian. I'm going to say that AI is Asian. I don't know if you've seen what they're doing with skateboarding over there. It's definitely Asian intelligence, without a doubt.
So no, Babe Ruth was not black. He was born George Herman Ruth Jr. in 1895, and his parents were of German ancestry. He identified as white and was treated as such.
No, right there at the end makes you question it. And was treated as such.
That's a little suspicious.
Yeah, that's a wild Asian intelligence right there. What the fuck is that even supposed to mean? And was treated as such.
They say, okay, now, while there were rumors and suspicions about his heritage due to his physical features,
he did look like shit.
His parents were both German, and his DNA, as well as that of his nearest living relative, was tested and found to be negative for African ancestry. Which is crazy.
Negative.
Because allegedly, all people came from Africa, and he has none.
I have none.
You have none?
I have none. And that's not even a boast. I did my 23andMe.
Yeah.
I did it because the chick I was dating at the time, she had done it. And she was like, and this was during the pandemic, so everyone's bored, nothing to do.
Yeah.
What more fun than to look up your fucking genetic makeup? So she's like, I'll pay for it. Like
did she have some African?
She had a bunch of shit. She had it was kind of wild how checkerboarded her fucking thing was. And I was like, wow, that's neat that you have like, I think she had like Albanian in it. Like it was all over the place. It was actually like, wow, that's neat. You have so much flavor in your bloodline. Yeah. And she's like, yo, you should do it. I'm like, why am I going to do this just to have the answers I already know?
Yeah.
Like, why would I'm not going to pay $87 for this. She's like, I'll do it. She's like, I guarantee it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I guarantee you're going to find out. Like maybe you never thought you were this. And like, honestly, for a second, I was like, man, that would be cool if like I had like, Native American. I really want to.
Everyone wants Native
Everyone
American.
wants it.
Everyone wants Native American.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know why I wanted it?
Why?
Greatest athlete ever.
Oh, Jim Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe. I was like, yo, because Jim Thorpe is from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he's a PA guy.
The Shaners have been in Pennsylvania since the conception of Pennsylvania.
You were hoping to actually have some Jim Thorpe.
Dude, I was looking to get Thorpe, dude. I'm not lying.
You trying to get Thorpe?
My brain was like, I'm gonna have some Thorpe in me.
Yeah.
Dude. I was really hoping. I was like, yo, this is that. How sick would that be to find out? You'd never shut up about that.
I don't know. It's also tough to find out. Like I think for you, finding out that you have some Thorpe in you, despite everything that you've told me about all of your athletic endeavors.
Straight up. I would be the disgrace of Thorpe.
You would be.
Believe me, Jim Thorpe is rolling in his grave wherever it may be. And I know, but I was like, yo, that would be cool to find out that. Mm-hmm. It would be cool to find out, like, exactly where the lineage is from. And I was also like, I was anticipating, again, because like you said, everyone's got sub-Saharan African in them. It's the cradle of civilization.
Cradle of civilization, for sure.
Allegedly. There are actually two cradles. Sidney,
there's a cradle and a crib.
If I may, there are two identical cradles. One may be black and one may be white. Where would you say I fit in that cradle?
Yeah.
Dude, I did it. I got my results back. And holy fuck. So for the longest time, I went most of my life thinking I was Irish.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of it.
Yeah.
No.
But Shayner's not an Irish name.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I was told once by a distant relative related to my grandfather that I met like twice.
Okay.
That's
a stranger, basically, but sure.
Basically, dude, my dad was an only child, so like when I met relatives from my grandfather's side, they were just like people showing up like at a party, and you're just like, who the fuck are these dudes? Like, oh, that's your uncle, blah blah blah, or great uncle this. Apparently, allegedly, Shayner was derivative from O'Shane. So what happened was when the Irish came to America, it was easier. When you showed up with an Irish last name, they were like, if you change it to Shayner, it sounds more German than Irish, and it's way easier for a German person to get a job than an Irish person to get a job.
Okay.
And they were like, just change it, and you'll find employment easier.
Can I tell you my theory about the last name? Even though I have no knowledge whatsoever.
Sure.
But I would have assumed that it was a derivative, if it was a derivative at all, that it was a derivative of like Schooner.
So you're on the right track.
Okay.
So what happened was, and I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like Schoener.
And that's actually where it is. It's so when I did the 23andMe, I was looking at, dude, it was 87 something percent German. And then it was a spattering of like Western Europe. Like some was in England. There was like a smidge of Irish, and it was all like, you know, Luxembourg and Austria, all this crap. And I was like, oh, it's all German.
Yeah.
That's all German. So then I started going through the subcategories of like, dude, 0.0. No sub-Saharan African. No Ashkenazi. Like apparently that was like another thing that everyone was like, yo, I have some of this.
White people want that.
Had none of it.
That's like the white Native American.
And it picks up dimes is the name. Bitches about bagels. I looked up and my heritage comes from the Upper Caucasus regions, all up here.
Okay.
So like all of my bloodline was just here. It didn't come from, which when you find that out, you're kind of like, and everyone was telling me though, when I got it, they're like, yeah, that's just like what they're telling you now, but it does change every now and again because more people who do it, dude, for up until I deleted the app because everyone was telling you to delete it because they're like, yo, they're taking your who gives
Dude, they
shit?
got your DNA.
What are you talking about? What are they going to do?
What more information could they have?
It's also when people were like, they're taking our DNA. Like, what if they clone me? Like, they're not cloning you, fatso.
Yeah,
Get
for
the
sure.
fuck out of here. It'd be different if the Spider Silva was like, they took my DNA. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's going to be a race of fucking high-kicking maniacs.
Yeah, they took your DNA so they could eliminate your shit from the clone.
Exactly. You were the people that the other clones beat up on. You fucking piece of shit. So I looked every, like, 2 or 3 months, you would get like an update of like, oh, another person you're loosely related to, and it's like 4th cousins, 5th cousins, all this crap. And I'm looking at like again the heritage, it didn't change at all. So I'm just the whitest person on the planet.
So I for almost opposite reasons, I've never done the 23andMe.
Why? You don't want to be told how black you are?
Because, well, I don't want to find part of my heritage, part of the lore of our family heritage is quite a bit of Native American.
Oh, you don't
like not even a little bit.
You don't want to be.
I don't want to find out
you don't want to be crushed.
I don't got no Indian in my family.
you don't want to be anti-Thorped.
I don't want to be, dude. I De-Thorped,
dude. If you got De-Thorped,
nah.
How
dude.
crushing would that be?
It would crush me. I don't. And there's like a lot of things that I attribute to my Native American heritage, like the fact that my hair is jet black.
You're just stealing valor.
I
dude.
am stealing. I'm stealing valor. I'm stealing the red man valor for sure.
Your Indian name is Lies Through Teeth.
Yeah, man. Dude, I look very natural in a headband.
Oh yeah.
Shit. It just works.
I would just say that like with the 23andMe, I was disappointed in the way that I didn't have it. Like when your brain's like, yo, we're all from probably around, Chad.
Yeah.
Probably, that's dude, nothing. The only thing I was pumped, I remember that I was concerned, and I was like, I swear to God, if I have any of this in my bloodline, I'm going to fucking lose my shit. I was like, if I have any Italian in my blood, dude, I'm not lying. Nothing against my Italian friends. I was like, I've met so many third generation Italian Americans who are so insufferable.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just don't want to even be, I don't want any. But I also knew I wasn't Italian to begin with anyway.
Yeah.
I wasn't even concerned about it. You know how I knew I wasn't Italian? Because my parents never talked about it. We never talked
That's
about
fair.
our heritage.
That's fair.
Italians talk about their heritage
Yeah, that's mostly
constantly.
all they talk about. Those and the Irish.
Oh yeah, and the Irish.
Yeah,
that was the
yeah.
other thing too, where I was kind of confused because we never talked about that either. And I was like,
Yeah.
we didn't have any like traditional dishes, and we didn't have any like things that we were ever celebrating. St. Patrick's Day was never a big thing. There was nothing like, hey, we weren't Catholic, we were Protestant, so like, I was like, well, if we're Irish, we're like the worst type of fucking Irish.
Yeah, dude. It's hard to get a clear answer on what tribe our family is from.
The Native American tribe.
Yeah.
What tribe do you think you are?
I mean, well, everybody wants to be Cherokee.
Everybody? I don't want to be Cherokee.
Well, if you're on this side of the country,
I wanna
you cannot be. Do not try to claim a West Coast tribe.
Well, I'm not Iroquois.
Iroquois is like up near Canada.
It's up, but it's still the east. Iroquois.
It's
What Apache, Seminole. Seminole
that's
Seminole's
down
east.
south.
That's
Florida.
East Coast.
Apache
though?
is definitely not.
Apache. Yeah, that's West Coast.
Yeah, it's West.
Sorry.
So, so it's like it's like a Lakota. It's like a very lesser known tribe. It's like not Lenape.
Oh,
But it's like lesser known than Lenape.
Yeah. What was the other one? Pawnee. Isn't that
Yeah,
East Coast?
that's local.
Pawnee?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
local.
That's equal.
It's, dude, we're like the British Knights of Native Americans. We're not even name brand. We're like dude, we're just like
You're the Kmart kickers.
yeah, dude, we're under ASICs.
Damn, dude. You're not even LA gear.
Nah.
Damn.
Nah.
That's got to be rough.
It's pretty rough. But it was like that's all. Like I don't want to lose that.
Yeah, but what? Okay, so what if though you do it and you find out you're even more Native American than you thought?
I think I'm a lot of Native American.
How much Native American do you think you are?
Wait,
how much Native American are you telling your kids that they are? How much are you lying to your children?
I just tell the kids I'm black. I don't even bring it up to the kids because I don't want them to get so interested in their heritage that they do a 23andMe.
No, yeah.
Because then I'd know.
Then you look like a lying asshole.
Yeah.
You already didn't bite a cord.
I don't even care about being a liar. I just don't want them to tell me what I'm not. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to know. Don't ruin
I
it.
am this.
No, I don't want them to have any curiosity about it at all.
All right.
So
wait, the lore is that you are part. How much Native American would be?
Well, it's hard to do the math. So my grandma is allegedly 3/4 Native American.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Wait, is it? Let me get this right.
3/4 is 75%.
So it's one of her parents. Her mom is pure, uncut.
Pure uncut.
Yeah.
That's pure.
Yeah.
Pure Native American.
Yeah. She's she's pure and uncut. And then her dad was half black. No. Half. There's Native American in her dad too. But there's also
Sidney, I've got bad news for you. You are not Native American.
There's also
you were like, and then there's like 1.5.
This is where it gets crazy because like her dad was a unconsensual lovemaking baby.
Oh no.
Yeah. So somebody.
That is the wildest way to put that, by the way. Unconsensual love making baby.
It was a hate baby.
Yeah, it's like,
hate baby.
sexually assertive.
Yeah,
child. He was very sexually
yeah.
assertive.
It was sexually blunt.
Yeah, you just he did it.
Yeah,
Whether they liked it or not.
So the somebody unconsensually loved a Native American lady, and that person that person had some issues because they were a white passing half. They were half black, half white.
A white peasant at Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
That's a Blake Griffin if I've ever seen one in my life.
Yeah. So that's the percentage that on my mom's side.
All right.
Of Native American that is coming into my bloodstream.
So the Native American is all on your mom's side, not on
for the most part. I mean, there's some,
and you believe it's also on your dad's side as well.
They claim it on my dad's side.
Come on, man.
But it's like, but they don't look like my mom, like my grandmom looks it.
This is exactly what happened with Babe Ruth. You know that?
Yeah,
This is exactly what happened with Babe Ruth.
Yeah, this is. But on my dad's side, they just strike me as black people that are stealing Native American valor. Like, because you know how like they all want people want Indian in their family.
I mean, yeah, I think it's because, when it comes down to like, how sick is Native American culture?
It's pretty sick. I mean, it did
sick.
get dominated by white
Without
culture,
a doubt.
but it's sick.
Actually, everywhere I'm from, we're pretty fucking sick, dude. We win. But yeah, I think it's because, the mysticism that goes along with it, the Wendigo's sick, Thunderbird's sick, the rain dancing sick, the longhouses, the totem poles, all that cool shit. And it is a bummer that they got wiped out by dudes who are like me.
Dude, it's crazy. We talked about this one time on Stoner Dads, but it was this is a thing that I said on Stoner Dads. We were talking about Native Americans and when white people came to America, right? Because for the most part, when white people came to America, when Native Americans start getting into white culture shit, Native Americans were crushing it, right? So horses weren't here, allegedly.
No.
Right? So when horses came over, Native Americans start whipping those horses, like riding those horses in ways that white people never even dreamed of.
Yeah.
Like they like all like those shows, those horse shows, like the Wild Wild West. They were mimicking Comanche style horse riding.
Sidney, and this is where the relation is. White people to Native Americans are black people to Asians just taking the black culture. Mm-hmm. We had to stop that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they were going.
And we did it.
So for the most part, white people had to watch Native Americans
just crush it,
rock their culture, except for one thing. Native Americans watched white people come over here and in a very short time invent airplanes.
Yeah.
So they basically watched white people become eagles.
I mean, the airplane, what's crazy about that is not just the airplane. Imagine being, this is also wild just to comprehend. Mm-hmm. Imagine being Native American and you're 10 years old when the first flight at Kitty Hawk happens.
Many moons.
You're many moons ago.
Old.
You watch white people achieve flight.
Yeah.
And then 60 years later, you watch white guys go to the moon. The time frame between the first manned plane flight and the moon landing is only 60 years.
Yeah.
That's all that you could just imagine. I can't even imagine being like a Native American. Like, I remember when my parents were talking about white people showing up in the 1600s, and I got all the stories about it. And now we're still here. We're all driving motor cars, kind of. What the fuck is that? And then what the fuck is that?
I wouldn't believe it.
No, you can't.
I would never believe it.
But that's the only thing I can say as white people, dude. We got up there.
Yeah.
You guys can jump high. We can go high. You can jump. You can break all the backboards you want on that court.
Yeah.
We're going to the moon, dude.
Yeah, I mean, but let's not act like rocket ships were inspired by black vertical jumps. They were like, damn, it's like they're like Like
It is crazy.
Propulsion of some kind that they're
Because Werner Braun Braun, when he developed the V2 rocket that took out Paris, it was called the LeBron. He was like, "We're gonna do it with the LeBron."
LeBron. Yeah.
These folks, yeah. It is crazy. I do want you to have Native American in your blood.
It would be,
But I
crushing if I didn't.
Sydney, I don't know if you do. I think I don't. I know it'd be crushing,
Dude,
but you're afraid of it crushing you. But what if you find out that it's something else?
Like what?
I don't know. What if you have some like? What if
it was like the other Indian? What if it was like? That would be sick.
No, dude. What if you found out that they're like Sydney, you're actually 75% Indian. You're like, I fucking knew it. Like, no. Bangladesh.
Trust me, you didn't know this.
England. It's like what the fuck? No. You're
Yeah.
Taj Mahal Indian, dude.
So I'm trying to find my aunt. She has a picture of my grandmom on her Facebook.
Is she dressed like a Native American?
No, but she looks like a Native American lady. She's she's
so Native.
Yeah, dude, she's native. She's native passing.
So Native passing. You passed for Native. Yeah, I mean that's I mean, look. I think you should do it. I think you should do the 23andMe. And I think you should really get a concrete answer on what on your heritage.
Yeah.
I think you should. That's just me though. I think you should do it.
I don't even know if she's on Facebook anymore.
No, because if she's really Native American, she wouldn't want a picture of her anyway.
My grandmom's gone.
I was gonna say it
She's
takes your
gone.
soul.
Yeah.
That's what Native Americans believe.
Yeah, man. But I think how you feel? I think we
did it.
Yeah.
We definitely declared war on the WNBA.
The WNBA race war.
The race war.
It
was, and I'm gonna be real. I don't look. I think these bitches should just shut the fuck up and just play some fucking basketball. Yeah. You. If anything, right now you're complaining about the negative press that's coming your way with everything. It's like, dude, do you really want people watching basketball or watching the sport you're dedicating your life to? Do you want them watching it because they think it's a sideshow? Or do you want people watching because you're like, yo, these chicks are actually
now you
crushing.
Sound like a woman.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
because I look.
That's woman talk. It's like, really, you only watch because you think I'm hot. You don't watch because you think that I'm good.
We do. See, that's the whole thing is we do that, but what we don't need is you being like, no, we're better than that. Like clearly you're not.
Yeah.
Clearly you're not. If you were crushing shit, we'd be like, yo, those chicks are hot, but you ever see them fucking crush it?
Yeah, just be okay that people are watching.
Yo, that's what I'm
Don't
saying.
care about why they're watching. Just be okay that they're watching.
Just fucking go with it. If anything, I would be like, yo, if I saw Caitlin Clark come into the league and was like really just, hitting the fucking net that many times, I'd be like, yo, I should probably do some jump shots. I should probably train on this shit a little bit.
Dude, so I have a thing I want to add to the end of the I've never seen this on another podcast before.
Oh man.
Right? So what I want to do, so for the last few minutes of this podcast, from the last episode,
yes, is
there anything that you thought of later that you wished we would have talked about on that episode?
Thought of later?
Because I have a question for you.
Ask a question.
You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. So last episode we pretty much declared World War Fun on dick pics.
That's right.
Right?
We did.
So let me ask you this. Throughout history, right? Let's just assume that throughout history, everybody had the same dick pic capability.
All right.
Like smartphones existed throughout history, but that's it. That's the only technology that people in the past can have. Like Jesus had a cell phone, but still sandals. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So throughout history, Who do you think would have sent the most dick pics? The one single person who you think sent the most dick pics. That's question one. Question two, who do you think received the most dick pics?
So sent the most, and everybody in Antiquity.
I think we're going to have the same answer.
So
I'm going to write my answer down on a whiteboard first before you answer this.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if we match.
So if we're going all the way back
Yeah.
in Antiquity.
All right, got my answer down, and then I'm gonna write my answer down for received too.
Okay. So sent, it's a toss up between, because like I'm not just going in like, modern America, modern civilization. I'm gonna go far back.
Yeah.
Genghis Khan, definitely.
Okay.
Or Alexander the Great.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is somebody who was conquering most of the world would have been like, yo, check. Like I guarantee a crazy person like that who's just like a borderline megalomaniac who has no real grip on reality is just sending them off like a motherfucker. Receiving the most dick pics. That's a toss up between Cleopatra and either Plato. Dude, those Romans were gay as hell, dude. Those boy lovers were gay. They were getting dick pics out the yin yang. So yeah, it's either Plato or Cleopatra.
Okay.
Yeah. So Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great sending, Plato, Cleopatra.
All right. So you ready for this?
Yeah.
Khan and Cleopatra, baby. Let's go.
I'm telling you.
Let's go.
I'm telling you.
Dude,
Then again,
Genghis Khan would have sent so many dick pics that now we'd be calling him Genghis Dong.
It is wild. So here's the thing too. I do also believe that if it was capable, I'm willing to bet like John D. Rockefeller, Westinghouse, like the guys who like were in charge of America.
Yeah. The men who built America
would definitely have sent them.
Yeah,
without a doubt. I think they definitely would have been. It would have been scandalized, but they would have been like, "Well, what's just what we do."
Yeah,
it would have been wildly accepted. I think that would have been like, "Whoa, wow, Westinghouse sent me a dick pic. Isn't that fun?" They would have just gone with it.
Yeah, honestly, I think there would have been. I think the culture around it would have shifted quite dramatically. Where if guys weren't sending dick pics, that would be more insulting.
Straight up. And you know what? I bet Van Gogh would still have an ear. I bet he would not have got that if it was just an easy take a picture of his dick. He's like, I sent it to my one true love. She knows. I sent an unsolicited dick pic to her. She knows that I love her. Instead of cutting off that ear, you would have saved so much time and effort.
Yeah.
So
that's time. It. So what do you? What do you think of that? To add an addition to the end,
great.
You like that, right?
I like that.
Hell yeah.
I like that. It's a good mind meld thing.
Yeah.
But I will say, we're not always gonna. That was good that we agreed the first time. I think we're gonna. I think it's gonna. You know what it's like if there were two identical boards, one white or one black. Which one? I think it is going to go up and down. I think it's going to go up and down a little bit. But this has been a great.
Yeah, this was fun.
Declaration of war.
This was fun.
Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time on World War Fun.